Hello and welcome back to my channel. So for those of you that have been on this channel before, welcome back. I want to just talk about life, and my recent weeks have been all about advice I'd give to a younger version of me, or to younger people in general, being that I'm in midlife and middle age, or whatever you want to call it. In the last few weeks I actually had an agenda. This time I'm just going to focus on one topic and just see where the conversation takes me in my head. So today I'm talking about relationships. So I talked about the idea of the wheel of life in a previous video, and this is a life coaching tool that you basically use to segment your life in a way that you can focus on improving that segment. So 2 weeks ago I talked about money. Last week I talked about career. If you want to see what I said in those, check out previous videos. Today I want to talk about relationships, so that segment of the wheel of life. So what have I learnt now, all these years on, that'll be useful to my younger self or a younger person, or just generally anybody? Okay, so one thing that I was thinking about the other day, because I caught up with some school friends who I've known for decades and decades. When we were at school, actually, we weren't in the same kind of space. You know, I was a sporty guy. One of the guys was the real proper academic, Oxford type, and the other guy, he was a try-hard. Not in a bad way, but he tried to be academic. He wasn't quite there. He tried to be sporty, but he wasn't there. But all these years on, we get on, and quite frankly, where we were decades ago, 2-3 decades ago, doesn't matter. So I think one of the things a lot of people when they're younger do is they get very precious about where they are in life at that time. The one thing you'll realise is decades down the line, none of that matters, really. None of what you were holding on to in your 20s really matters, genuinely. I mean, yeah, I'm not even going to go into some of the stuff that I was precious about back then and laugh about now, because the more important things in life are really your relationships, your family relationships, your social relationships, work relationships, if you want to kind of group that together. But it's important to work on keeping them together. I'm on a WhatsApp group with guys from high school, and again, we don't see each other regularly, maybe once or twice a year, some of us. Some of us live in different countries, but there were 30 of us on this WhatsApp group who, again, we left school decades ago. And so, some of the guys I was close to at school or shortly after school, I'm not as close to them now. Some of the guys I wasn't close to while at school, but am closer to now. So don't be overly fixated on your current relationships. Obviously, work those relationships and continue to grow with those people. But if you grow apart, that's life. That's the way things are. And if you find yourself becoming closer to people who you wouldn't have been close to at school, that too is life. You evolve, they evolve, things change. And so you've got to be prepared to evolve your relationships over time. But make sure you have relationships. There's plenty of data that came out of the pandemic about how the loneliness of isolation and the loneliness of being cut off from, friendships and so on, had a massive mental health impact on people. And that's something that we don't really kind of consider, because in a way it's like the boiling frog. You put the frog in a pan of hot water, it jumps out straight away because it knows it's hot. But if you put a frog into a bowl of water and slowly boil it, the frog won't really realise that things are getting worse for them, literally around them. And that's the same, I think, with certain dynamics around relationships, or at least cutting yourself off from people. There've been times that I know that I've been very distant from a number of people, and it's only when I reconnect that I realise what I've been missing, and I realise the detriment that's been done to me by not staying connected. So it's very important to keep on working relationships, but be prepared to keep on adapting to circumstance, because again, we all change. I still remember many years ago, shortly after school, at the time I had 3 very close friends from school. We went to school together. We had kind of similar backgrounds in terms of working class, ethnic minority parentage, London guys, and we all hung out together all the time. And one day we sort of said, so who's going to be the other person's best man? As in, there are 4 of us, so when each one of us gets married, we've got to decide on who's going to be the best man for each one of us. And I think we said we'd take it in turns or something like that. As it turned out, only one, I guess, well, my best man was one of those 3. 2 of the guys used their brothers, which is fine, and one of the guys didn't use any of us, which is fine. But at the time, it seemed to make perfect sense for us to have that approach to our friendship, And of those 3 guys, I'm still in contact with 2 of them a lot. We live in different countries, so we don't speak often. In fact, I haven't seen one of those 2 for a few years, because I don't know, we've just missed each other when we've both been in London. But one of the guys, he just disappeared from our worlds, which is a shame. But it is the way things evolve. So I guess the message here is, work and develop those relationships when you're young. You never know when you might need them. They're very important for mental health dynamics. But if things change, accept it and just keep on growing relationships. Relationships are incredibly important. Social, not just, partly the social dynamic. We are social creatures and we need to stay connected to people on a social level. But also it's really having that emotional shoulder to cry on, to talk to, someone to bounce ideas off, those kind of things. So always keep building and developing relationships. And if a relationship no longer serves you, be prepared to let it go. That's probably one of the hardest things, I think. Now I get it. Back then, the idea of letting go a relationship, and I'm talking both platonic and romantic relationships, the idea of letting those go were hard, but sometimes, things are not meant to be, and you've got to be prepared to evolve with how circumstances change. And that's something I've learnt. I wouldn't say to my detriment. I've just learnt. We all live and learn. So that's really my message. Relationships. It's something I've thought about a lot. Again, some people I know were close even the last few years, just we seem to have drifted apart. I've made efforts to stay connected. They haven't reciprocated. That's fine. We're in different places. When the time's right, maybe we'll reconnect. Maybe we won't. But it's my job to just keep on trying to develop relationships, stay true to myself on my relationships, not just build relationships and friendships for the sake of it. Be as connected with the way I see the world as I can be. So if those other relationships don't stay part of my life, so be it. But I can't just stop and just wait for them. I've just got to keep on growing my relationships and accept that change happens. Okay, I think that's it for this week. And yeah, until next time, bye bye.